evening, members of League Zero. I am your host, Grapegeek, and welcome to the Week 5 edition of the Countdown. Today I'm with a few of my guests here. Say your name.
I am Jeff. I am the flex DPS player for Rio Redemption.
I am Anticrystal, the off tank for OTW.
I'm RyGuy. I'm the main tank for Wisdom Academy.
Yeah, guys, we have a lot of guests this week from a lot of different teams. It's going to be really exciting. So the first game of the week we actually have is Platcha versus Rio Redemption, and I was actually kind of surprised by this game because I thought it would be much closer, considering that these two teams were at the bottom of the ranks. But Platcha did end up winning 3-0 in a pretty confident fashion, and we actually do have someone from Rio actually here, Chef. So what was this is a question towards you, Chef. What was Rio's expectations coming into this, and what went wrong, considering that they got 3-0?
I guess our expectation was we were going to try and we were thinking no you since he recently had gotten traded to the team and being the only main tank. Our kind of strategy was to try and focus him to where we could try and, because him not being like new to the team and stuff, we didn't think he'd be as like well meshed into the team to where we could try and focus him and hopefully like constantly be able to pick him off and allow that to help us win fights a lot. And then going into it where it went wrong is I guess they were much more prepared for that, and so they did a really good job of covering No You and keeping him alive from us, and in the end we just ended up going in too deep and stuff like that and costing us the game.
Yeah, so I want to get the other two people in here's predictions. So what was your guys' view on this game if you guys did end up watching the game?
I did it. I did expect that Rio would lose just because they're just right now. They're struggling on right now. That I feel like the only two good parts on their team is their DPS line. Usually Chef and ATZ. They've both been doing solid jobs on their roles, I feel like, and just everything else is struggling. Like Empty's been memed for a reason when they versed us. Like, he's not very good at knowing when to switch heals and speed. So a lot of the time the team lacks a lot of heals in fights, so then the other team gets to just run at them because they have more heals.
I kind of agree with you there. I feel like Platcha just outclassed Rio in every way possible. ATZ and Chef have been playing really well, but I feel like those are the only bright spots right now. And currently when I look at this Rio roster, I'm not really confident for them, especially for the long run, when I see that they are struggling and have yet to win a map. So I'm kind of nervous for Rio, but in the end, this is just regular season, and if they just keep improving off this, they will eventually win maps and games. Would you like to add anything, RyGuy, before we get into playing matches?
I would, because I am the complete opposite of you guys. I have a lot of faith in Rio at the moment. I think that they have made the improvements that they need to actually be successful. Instead of going downhill, they went on uphill. Like, especially in their main tank position, like, compared to what they had before, no offense to No You, but I mean, I think that Andrew's just way better as a main tank and probably meshed more with the team than No You was at all. A bit with Pineapple as well, but I just think that the comms are the main difference as well. Especially with Kenny coming in, getting a good main flex support is really good for him. But I don't know, I just have a lot of faith in this team. I feel like they've improved, but I did expect them to win. Got my expectations a little bit broken there. I'm kind of upset, but hopefully they can turn it around this week.
Yeah, the season's definitely not over yet. We're not even at the halfway point right now, so it'll be interesting to see how Rio does improve with the new rosters. The player of the match though goes to Vaporeon, who I believe was the off tank, who actually played really well. His Diva and Zarya was almost outclassed Rio in all ways possible. And the honorable mentions were Igly okay, I'm gonna pronounce it so Iggle, Debop, and No You. And yeah, sorry, Chef brought it up previously. No You was a brand new main tank on this new Platcha roster, and even though he had little time to synergize, he played very well, seeing that he only had 1 day.
Yeah, I think I think No You did deserve it though, just because like of how well he meshed with his team, and just how I think he played really well that match. And I think now that he has a new home on Blackjack, he'll be able to do a lot better than he did on Rio.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Like, considering that No You only had like 1 or 2 days to practice with him, and he played this well, really shows the future of Platcha. I feel like Platcha is definitely gonna be on the rise now. Considering him to play this good with a brand new main tank, it's just gonna go more. It's just gonna go better and better every single day. Anyone want to add anything else before we move on?
Nothing of fun.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
I don't have anything else.
And the next game we're actually going on to is Wisdom versus Geo, and this surpassed a lot of analysts' expectations. People thought it was going to be a close game because there was 2 powerhouses going at each other, but Wisdom has to get the edge right here. 3-0 dominant win, and we actually do have someone with us right now, RyGuy. So RyGuy, what was it like? I'm going to say the exact same question I asked for Chef here, but what was your expectations going to this game, and how were the analyst predictions from last week's countdown, where they were like heavily favoring Geo, impact you coming into this game?
Well, obviously we knew that we were going to 3-0 them, wasn't even close, but, you know, the analyst predictions was the same with Hyperflex. It was, last week, Hyperflex game was 70% were voting for Hyper, so it really motivated us to actually win that game. And then this week it was even worse, it was 80% that voted for Geo, so it motivated us as well. We had, you know, the boys as the coaches that were helping us as well. You know, Navino was there, didn't really do much, but, you know, he still helped us win. But coaches in general were helping us a lot. I think our team played really well together. All we had to do is focus fire their main tank and just let them have at it and rage. When you rage, you play bad. When you rage, the rest of your team gets angry, then they play bad. So it's just kind of like a cycle that we just kind of exploited, in my opinion.
I also want to ask you, like a follow-up question to that is: did Geo underwhelm or surpass your expectations?
Definitely not. The kind of both. I expected them to be a lot worse because of Hattori Hanzo leaving, but they were still better than I thought they would be. But at the same time, they weren't good. I consider them to be like 3rd place in my opinion, and that's where they should probably stay. Like, they're still a good team. I respect everyone put on there, but I don't know. They took a huge blow with Hattori getting moved up, and I don't know if they can recover that quickly.
Alright, Anti-Crystal and Chef, do you guys want to add anything from the spectator's perspective of this game?
I really wasn't that surprised about Wisdom. I knew Geometric was like one of the greatest thing in existence, but I also didn't think it would be 3-0. I thought it'd be 3-1, but again, I felt like Wisdom has the better players in general and just have the better synergy, and also have coaching staff behind them that like have worked prior to League Zero and a lot of other stuff, so it helps them out to make up strategies and like help their players improve, and I feel like it'll really help the Wisdom players, as I do think Wisdom right now are the best team.
Chef,
you want to add anything?
Yeah, pretty much I went into this thinking it's going to be kind of looking into it. I thought there was like there's obviously a lot of bright spots on Geo, and I thought it was going to basically come down to which one reigns supreme, rather just like raw mechanical skills or that actual teamwork. And this is just like a perfect example showing like that it don't matter how like good mechanically you are as a team, it's how well your team works together as a whole. It can work as one rather than 6 individuals, and it basically allowed for Wisdom to come through and just roll through the easy 3-0.
I have to agree with you on that one. I feel like Geometric does have those mechanically skilled players, but this is a draft league, right? It's going to come down to synergy at one point, and I feel like Wisdom Academy is just on another level when it comes to that team synergy, and I'm really impressed by the Wisdom Academy. Currently, it seems like nobody can touch them, and yeah, I'm just excited for what's going to come with this team. To go on though, the player match was Red Knight, who is their main tank if I'm not mistaken, and the honorable mentions were Awkward and Tuzi. So, RyGuy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't Red Knight your backup main tank?
I wouldn't say backup, I'd say more of a map specialist kind of guy, because I don't like the word backup. I just feel like it's kind of like a mean-spirited word. I don't really like it that much. But he is like probably like our hybrid map specialist, and he's really good on that map. He does a fantastic job on that map. It just tears it up. And oh my god, was it beautiful watching in that lobby where Corvs was just trying to trash talk Red Knight since basically almost the beginning of the league. And all this was building up to this one game. And in that game, Red Knight just destroyed him. And I can't be more proud of Red Knight, to be honest.
Yeah, Red
I
Knight
can't-
played very well. I mean, I've been talking to him. I've been giving some coaching. Ever since I joined Western County as a mental health coach, and I'm really excited to see Red Knight just improve a lot because I know you guys really have a strong roster, and you bringing in you having these map specialist players is really going to help the team excel. And anyone want to add on the rest of these player of the matches and all our mentions?
I mean, Red Knight is obvious. I'd say around like around the same level as RyGuy, so I feel like they could both be interchangeably, and just like the team performs just as well with either of them in. So having Red Knight get player of that match, especially with all the trash talking from Corbs and just Red Knight coming through and just outplaying him basically, he really did deserve it. And then with Awkward's just a really good flex support, and Sui just time and time again just never fails to show up with his hit scan.
Definitely have to agree with you on that one. But let's go into the next game, which was OTW versus Hyperflex. And this game was really important because it was going to define which team was on top. Because I feel like OTW and Hyperflex are around the same skill range. But now it's a clear winner who is a better team. OTW took this 3-0. So this whole weekend was all 3-0s. OTW took 3-0 versus Hyperflex. And I just want to get your guys' opinion on this because I actually, Anti-Crystal, you're actually on One Trick Wonder. So what was your guys' expectations going into this game?
We weren't going in super cocky, but at the same token, we had a slight feeling it was going to go that way. We knew, like, from scrimming them basically every 3 days, that it was the same result every single time. So we just kind of had a feeling that it was probably going to repeat history. So we had a good feeling that we were going to beat them. I felt like it could have been a bit closer, but again, they did do pretty well for themselves. So I do think that they did underwhelm and overwhelm in some ways. But I do think Hyperflex can be a good team if they work out some issues.
So I also want to ask you, because the analyst last week as well didn't really rate OTW that highly, and didn't actually think they would take this map. So did that like push you guys to work harder in this game?
Well, me personally, yeah, because ever from the start, every single day from the start, everybody has, like, basically every single time we beat our team, they're like, oh, maybe they're there for that team. Like, everyone thought Plat should win, then we beat them. People thought we'd go close against Rio, we beat them. Same with Hyperflex. So we're looking to keep that trend, to keep upsetting teams who people think are better, and then we're gonna show that we actually are one of the better teams in the league.
Yeah, definitely. What was your RyGuy and Chef? What were your guys' opinion on this game?
Well, in my opinion, I really rate OTW very highly as a team compared to literally anyone else like in the league besides us. I just think that OTW is kind of gone unnoticed, but have become scary good over the course of like the first game that we played them in. So I have a bunch of friends on Hyper, so I don't want to like sound mean or anything, but I didn't really give Hyper much of a chance that game. To be honest, I thought that OTW was just way too good to lose that game.
Fair enough, fair enough. Chef, what was your opinion on this game?
I pretty much agree with RyGuy in that case. Like, everyone thought, oh, One Trick Wonders. It's like kind of like thinking, like, looking back at week ones, most of the time you think, oh, it's just like a one-off or something like that. People just like learning people's play styles, all that sort of thing. And so people seeing like that close match between One Trick and Wisdom didn't think much of it as just like a one-off game sort of thing. But One Trick Wonders, even since then, have continually proven time and time again that they are not a bad team and that they are on the top of the, like, one of the top teams in the league pretty much.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this One Trick Wonder squad because they have been, like, just like how I said before, all these teams are improving greatly, and it's gonna be really interesting to see what other games are gonna come in the future, considering that they're gonna be going up against some harder opponents. But going on though, the player of the match was Anti-Crystal, who we have here, and the honorable mention was Martini. I just want to say, Anti-Crystal, you played honestly amazing that game. You're one of the big reasons why OTW actually performed up to their standards. But how did you guys feel on these two players in general?
Well, like, I'll give my opinion on Martini. After he switched onto Flex DPS, after like playing support for like the first 2-3 games, because we only had one DPS for a little bit. Martini got really good at the Mei, and like a good 80% of the fights, Martini's Mei was getting the first pick. So a lot of the time we didn't have to waste ults on winning a fight because of that. And I also do want to give a quick shout out to First Abyss, because he didn't play much Ana before, sadly, but I do think he performed really well and had a lot of good anti-nades and a lot of good sleeps and just kept all of our team alive a lot. And I want to give him a lot of props because I think he should have had an honorable mention too.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like everyone on Ultimate is improving a lot. Like, it's definitely showing in terms of map score. But before we go into the predictions, do you guys want to end this section off in general?
I want to say something. Congratulations to OTW for actually just turning it around, and I hope you guys just absolutely crush it next game. Like, they've become scary good. Along with Rio, I just feel like Rio and OTW are the teams on the rise, along with Platchet, and Geo and Hyper are the teams on the fall. That's which sense leaving that at.
Alrighty, yeah, like even Rio, for example, even though their map score hasn't really like showed any difference, they are improving slowly. Like, eventually they will be getting at the point where they can win maps, and that's when they're gonna start improving. But for now, this Rio's gonna stay where they are right now. But let's going on to the prediction part. The first game of the week, it was Geometric versus One Trick Wonders, and all of us are predicting One Trick Wonders to win. So first, I have a question right to Crystal. What is your guys' preparation going to this game versus Geometric? How have you guys been preparing for Geometric?
We've just been scrimming a lot more than usual. I think our main plan, well, actually, I don't say that part, but in general, we've been practicing a lot of different comps that we can use against them, since they are one of the stronger teams. And we're not coming in necessarily cocky, but we do have expectations for ourselves. I do think we can take this game. But again, I'm not allowed to be cocky or my whole entire management's gonna kill me.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't want to be too overconfident and lose. Ah, corpse. Anyways,
Damn, throwing shade.
Chef and RyGuy, why do you guys think Geometric? Why do you think One Trick Wonders is gonna take this game?
Well, Geo as a team to me is a team about a positive attitude. If they don't have that, I feel like they will just be garbage. They need to be in the right mindset, and because they were 3-0, I think during that time where they were just destroying, they were in an insanely like happy mindset, and they were really pumped, they were really excited, so they played like really well. During the game, when they started losing maps instead of absolutely rolling like they usually do, I think they got a little bit concerned, and they just started to do a little bit worse than they usually do, and then 2-0 came around, and then they started getting actually worried. And then when it was the last map, I think they just played like garbage because they were just internally arguing. Like, it just wasn't good. So, at the moment, I think Geo is at their low, like their lowest low that they might be in the entire season if they lose again. So, if they stay at this low and they don't pick it back up, I think that One Trick Wonder should have no problem destroying.
Very bold statements coming out, but I actually have to agree with you. I feel like Geometric won't be able to bounce back from the loss, especially considering it's a 3-0 defeat. I think One Trick Wonder is just on another level, and they're just going to build that momentum on and just destroy Geometric. So let's go into the next game of the week, which is Platchet versus Wisdom. We actually all have Wisdom winning, but we do have RyGuy actually in this game. So RyGuy, do you guys think you guys are winning? What are your guys' expectations first of all going into this game, and how are you guys preparing for Platchet?
I never think that when we go into a game we're gonna actually just destroy them. We always prepare like it's gonna be a close game no matter what team we're playing. We always prepare like it's gonna be a close game, so we try our heart out. It's like I try to think of what we're doing to like specifically to prepare, but we're kind of just honing our skills at the moment, like playing as a team wise, just getting that synergy even more, like even better than it already is. It's just, in my opinion, you shut down Alpha or you shut down Eagle, you shut down the whole team, like in my opinion, because their DPS are really good. I'm also like Vaporeon, he's really good as well, but at the same time I think that if you could shut down any of those three, the team just kind of collapses. Or if you shut down anyone who has comms, like main comms, I don't think Flashhead has that great of comms in general. So as soon as they die, their comms will fall apart and their team will just become disorganized. So you're just gonna try to select the target, kill them, move on.
So, Anticrystal and Chef, why do you guys think Wisdom's going to 3-0 up Platch in a very dominant fashion?
My opinion, I don't think Black Chat's that great of a team yet. I think they need more time to work together and synergize. And Wisdom is got a lot of momentum right now, and they're probably just going to use that momentum to wipe over Black Chat.
Fair enough.
I personally, it's not that I don't think Black Chat is a bad team. It's just I think Wisdom is just, as they've been showing recently, just feel like such in a dominant position to where I feel like they're just gonna straight outclass Black Chat, even if they are showing improvements and signs of it.
Fair enough, fair enough. I do think Platchat might take a map off here. I feel like if they do synergize more with No You. But then you look at the other side of Wisdom Academy, they're just better on paper overall. You have probably the most flexible team in the league in Novice currently. You have superstar talent. I just think they're just gonna outclass Platchat in every way possible. I definitely will be surprised if Platchat wins, but in my opinion, Wisdom will take this pretty easily. Going on to the last game of the week though, we have Real Redemption versus Hyperflex. And we kind of have some mixed opinions here. So me and Anticrystal both think Hyperflex will win, but RyGuy is saying Real Redemption. So before I get to Chef though, RyGuy, why do you think Rio's gonna win this game, especially in a close game?
I think it's going to be exactly like it is before, in which Rio is on the rise and Hyper is going down. They haven't proven to me, Hyperflex, that they can play like this meta actually well, because in reality the meta is going to be better than almost anything that you can throw at like another team. That's why it's the meta. And I don't think Hyper is a good Mei player, for one, that can actually like keep up with Chef's Mei and just absolutely demolish them. And also, yeah, Alucard's Genji is really good, and their tank line is amazing, and their support line's also good, but they have trouble gelling as a team, in my opinion. I've noticed in some of the games that when someone goes for their backline, no one peels, not a single person. So it seems like they could be good, but at the current moment, they aren't gelled together as a team. While Rio has only actually been improving as a team. They've gotten a main tank who can actually do comms as well. They've gotten a good flex support. They've just been improving. They've been doing really good in our scrims. So I just think that Rio is on the up, Hyper's on the down. There's only one actual possible outcome, in my opinion. That's for Rio to take their first win.
But a question for you, Chef, is how have you guys been able to bounce back from a lot of these tough losses? What is your guys' expectations in, and how are you guys actually going to prepare, considering that you guys are on a 4-game losing streak?
Well, recently we've been, like as RyGuy said, we've got improvements in the team with Ian Kenny as our new flex support, and we have a new main tank as well that's really been working well with the team. And pretty much we've been looking at this, the way how I personally see it is, it's not the strongest team at will is the team that constantly gets knocked down but in the end gets back up and ends up pulling through. And so with that mentality, we're hoping that we can come through. We've been working extra hard, especially this week, because we need to prove ourselves. We're hoping to come through this week and hopefully prove to everyone that we're able to actually beat a team and we're not just a bunch of Pegas.
I mean, I appreciate your confidence, and I do think Rio can win this match. But I'm not entirely convinced yet, because I feel like Rio is not at that point. I feel like it's going to take them a lot more time to synergize. Like I said, I'm concerned about your tank and support line. I feel like your DPS line is fantastic. But I'm going to need to see some positive outcomes before I actually see Rio winning a game. But anyone have anything else to add on that game in general?
Well, on that game, like I said before, I feel like I'm the only one that actually has faith in Rio, but I mean, you guys don't have like the scrim info that
I mean, you can't really take
like our
scrims.
teams have.
In my opinion,
I know you can't, but at the same time, compared to when they didn't have the main tanks, you can tell there's a way bigger difference and just how they move together as a team and play together as a team, and just how they can push aggressively and take space like they never could before. And I can't say like for certain that will transfer over into the game, but I just feel like Real Redemption is a team that, if given the chance to improve like they have been right now, they could easily climb up the ranks, man. Like, I could see them eventually, if the trend continues of them, like, improving as they have now, I could see them making it to 3rd place.
Oh, that's a very bold statement, but definitely a take. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. Rio can do it, but I'm gonna need to see some proof of that first. But I think that we can probably end it off there, guys. You guys have any closing remarks before we wrap this thing up?
Good luck to every single team that's been playing recently. You're all fantastic.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly say that, to the Geo game, reasons you don't beat Cocky 101.
Damn.
Damn.
Shout out to True, Jeff, and also Quab, and I guess Navino. You know, they're just really good coaches. They've been helping us a lot. You know, we couldn't have done it without them.
Awesome to hear, guys. But I think we're gonna have to end it off there. So thank you guys all for watching this episode of the Countdown. Be sure to tune in next week. But for now, see ya.
Hey guys, welcome to the Intermediate Countdown. My name is Scooter Scooter. I am joined here with Triggered,
Hello.
Akimbo,
It is I.
and Coffee Dog.
Yo.
Alright, so let's jump into the first game. First game was CDC versus Botburgers. CDC won. Do you guys have
Not
anything to say
surprising.
about
Yeah,
Wasn't
actually.
surprising,
It
yeah.
was DKE, right?
No,
no.
CDC versus Bot Burgers.
Yeah.
So what I'll say
Wait.
is,
Oh.
see, this is the start of new Bot Burgers. This is the new Bot Burgers. They're already down -3 map differential. Like, how many games are left? There's 6 games left. 6 times 3 is -18. So over the next 6 weeks, they're gonna go -18 in map differential. That's all I'm gonna say.
And they got some good pieces. Bobbers.
What's a good piece on that team?
I mean, I guess Kaditrix?
Oh yeah, they have CAD now.
Yeah, but
Kaditrix is okay.
Bro,
he
you gotta
wasn't there
feel bad.
originally.
You gotta feel
He
bad.
was on High Society, but like he's probably the best High Society player.
That's true.
True. Not wrong. Yeah.
CAD's good, but
I've
he's on
known
my
Cad
OD team.
for like a while. He's always been pretty good at the game.
Yeah, I rate him. He's on my OD team. Like, he's the main support I always go to. We've been on several teams together, so I really just feel bad for him that he has to be
Yeah,
on
he's
Botburgers.
he's got to struggle with that now.
Because
Yeah.
Botburgers, when I look at that roster, I could literally make a team out of FAs and have it 3-0 Botburgers. It's just sad.
Rise.
Okay, we're getting toxic. We're getting toxic.
I'm
Wait,
just saying,
it's not toxic. It's the truth.
I'm sorry,
I know.
but like,
But-
Dude, this is why we came to the countdown, so we can have some color, have some light.
Taken.
yeah,
No,
so
they're not taking it yet,
Botburgers,
man.
gonna be surprised if they win another map in the season. I say that, and they're probably gonna take one off us, but like, I'm still
No,
gonna be.
yeah,
I'm
so-
shocked if this team even takes a map.
Bro, I haven't talked yet. Okay, so this matchup wasn't surprising. I expected it, but to me, it was really more on the tank line that was heavy because Surmy and Gil just rolled over All Mike and Note, and every time that Botburgers looked good, CDC just looked 2 times better. And
Good to get play.
Botburgers just couldn't really do anything, really. It's like, I don't know if I can say it's because Botburgers is bad. Apparently you guys think it's that's why, but CDC
Botburgers is Omega bad.
so good.
Botburgers
I-
is number 12.
I'm not gonna
Botburgers is probably just as good as OC or Dunning-Kruger.
No, well,
Well,
OC is
OC 's
really
good.
good. Well,
We'll
hold
get
on.
into
Hold on.
that.
OC got really good. I rate
We'll get into
OC.
that later. We'll get into that later.
It's yeah.
Yeah, alright. So the play of the match for that game was RMM, and the honorable mention was Surmy. They're just good games.
Surmy got robbed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Surmy should have gotten that 100%. His Zarya was nuts. His Diva was nuts. He performed incredibly. Or Gil.
It's whatever. It's the people's vote. So,
It's
you guys,
the
RMM, I
truth.
guess. RMM debut gets player of the match. PogChamp.
Huge.
Alright, so the next game is Vitalize versus DKE. Vitalize 1. Do you guys have anything to say
3-1.
about that?
Yeah,
Once
so
again,
I mean, this is mine and
not-
Akimba's team.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, once again though, like it, you know, to most people other than a DP, it wasn't that surprising, especially with the scoreline as well. But as somebody who did play in that game, DKE improved a lot, and you need to sort of respect them a bit more. It's not like a second bye week or anything. It's much harder than it was at the beginning of the season, and now that they're making even more moves to improve, you know, I feel like they can get a lot better and at least take a match.
Yeah, and here's what I have to say about DKE. Right, they took a map off of us. There's reasons that they took the map off of us. Basically, when we scrimmed Eichenwald, I was the off tank playing, and
I've never.
Akimbo has never scrimmed Eichenwald once. And
yeah, we have
probably
taken that into account.
Yeah, we probably should have, but we didn't. But it's okay. Anyways, here's what I think about DKE. Right, I have a quote from the draft. Right, and it goes like this. This right here will be our last pick. So we were thinking, you know, what happens if D.Va comes back in the meta? Like, I'm not the greatest D.Va, and we are going to draft the one, the only Pichu. And what I mean by that is, for the first, like, 2 of the games, Pichu was benched for some reason for this Null kid.
It was Bunny Chen and Null, right?
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's just the one.
First off, what I have to say is Null might be the worst tank in this league.
I'd like to test that. I'd like to say that Orange Juice.
No, Orange Juice has positive.
No, he's got like 1 or 2 positive things. All right.
Literally, if Bunny Chan was in that game, I would have given a DKE like a 20% higher chance of beating us than having Null. Null legit.
I think Null
every map. He's
just not
so
good.
bad. And here's why. Like Null is basically the manager of DK. Like I'm just saying how I see it. I never see Kit do anything, right? Nola's the manager. He's power hungry. Noel will rather play himself than do what's best for the team. So what I'm thinking right now is if for some reason, like DK picked up a new main tank, right? They said Wiz is talking like, oh, he's really good, right? So if I don't see that main tank and Pichu playing and Nola's somewhere in there, then it just proves my point that he's play hungry instead of doing what's best for the team. And that's just selfishness. That's like, that just ticks me off.
Yeah, I do feel like that the tank line is the worst part of DKE right now, mostly the main tank, but...
Well, they picked up a new one, so hopefully they're good. It can't be worse than Null,
sure.
so...
You never know, dude, you never know.
Null's fucking garbage.
Whoa, no F words, talk.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Dude.
I'm
suspended, fined, 2-game suspension.
Okay.
You know what? It's fine. Don't even worry.
I am gonna say they kept it fairly close though, and it was a struggle until Rialto when we took it.
You would say the player of the match?
The player of the match was Crybaby, and the honorable mention
Who
was
did you expect?
33.
Who did you expect to get player of the match? He got it last match.
I don't know the copy dog.
He's been fucking nuts.
I played one map, dog, and I played
so proud of
Monkey
you,
Overwatch, and I missed 2 jumps in a row, dog. I get it.
I'm so proud of you, honestly. Yo, actually.
I whipped out the monkey on him. Like that's like we've practiced Rialto monkey.
You got
like,
the copy monkey?
The copy monkey.
That copy monkey. We gotta put me on off tank though. We just couldn't that time. GG.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also do like the Tark honorable mention. I personally voted for him because his flexibility. He had to flex onto that Mei role, and that was our least close map in the series. So I mean, maybe that's a sign, but you know.
Man, Mei. Yes.
No, Tark is like probably like one of the corners. Like he's incredibly flexible. He's so important to Vitalize's success.
I agree.
Like,
yeah.
So I'm glad that he got the honorable mention. He definitely deserves it.
Yeah. All right.
Sure, but Crybaby was just kind of nuts. What was the stat? He got like 42% of final blows on Hanamura or something like that.
Yo, who is counting these final blows?
Don't ask me. But I saw it on a tweet. So I saw it on a tweet.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Enough about Vitalize. No.
Enough Vitalize.
The main event.
Now let's move on to DC versus Papega Parrots. DC 1-3-0. And Trigger, do you have anything to say about that?
Match.
It was interesting.
Nini on the Rhino.
Every single Nini on main tank is not awful.
It wasn't that bad, honestly.
No, he's not awful. You know, main tank has been his main role his entire time. He's always been awful playing flex support.
Oh.
Shit.
Oh.
Well, I'm happy for him. Hey.
So we got rid of OJ, so he can play his main role, and he's much better than OJ. And comms in game, whatever you want to say. I thought that Nini should have been player of the match. I wasn't there for the match, but we recorded the comms, and I watched the replay, and oh man, no, every single Papega player is gonna say, oh, we weren't trying, but that's how you know you got your mental boomed. All right. They got boomed.
That's just an excuse, dog, saying, "Oh,
yeah, saying like, we were trying, we were playing Genos on main tank." Like, man, you got boomed. You're saying, "Oh, we have 4 support players," and like Genos, your only offer was Genos because you've been playing Mental on DPS probably for like the past few weeks.
Yeah, he played the first game.
Yeah.
Something I'll say about
with him, right? And like, he's not that bad at DPS, really.
Yeah, he's not bad. Your only awful was
they rolled us. So
I was in a VC with Genos. Before the match, and he was still like, "Oh, dude, we're gonna beat double cap. I'm gonna be on main tank, but dude, we're still gonna roll them easy."
GR.
Something I'll say about Papega, and I actually want to thank him for giving us their best player in Gizd. Thank you for that. We appreciate it.
I agree. Gizd is kind of nuts.
Gizd is cracked, and they just gave him to us for free. So,
effectively, yeah.
Jolt also wanted me to say that Wait What is a garbage team. All right.
Speaking
and I second it.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Player of the match. Was Jolt.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was Jolt. Yeah, you kind of.
Sir, that's my job.
Oh
that is my job.
Oh!
Stop saying the F word.
What?
I didn't say the F word.
Yeah, you did.
Oh my god, dude.
All right. So the player of the match was Jolt. The honorable mentions, multiple, were Hypnitos, Ravioli, and Nini.
I love Frogman.
Basically, the whole team.
Frogman, Uwu,
Flush. Yeah, just in general, Double Cap did play that fairly well, and no matter how many excuses Papega makes, you can't deny that.
They got fucking boom!
Oh my god, stop saying it, dude! 3! 3 times, dog! It's not that hard to say the F word. Alright, let's move on.
Alright, moving on. It's Shanghai versus Overcharge. Shanghai 1-3-2. Do you guys have anything to say? Because I feel like that was a pretty close game.
Overcharged is a good team.
Overcharged is going to rise.
Shit.
Overcharged is unlucky that they had Shanghai for their first match as a new team, but this team has so much potential. It's
Give this team 2 weeks and they could be one of the better teams in Division B.
I think they could be a top 4 team easily.
I agree. I completely agree. And, you know, after, scrimming against them and all that, you really start to realize how much of an improvement it is, especially in the tank line.
The tank line is so much better now.
Romy and Eternal are just they're good. They're really
Aspect,
good.
Their backup off tank is really good.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I think Snipes 100% deserves player of the match, and that's what he got, obviously. Because there were so many fights on Oasis where 3 or 4 people would be down on the side of Shanghai, and then Snipes kills 5. And then, that basically carried them through Oasis. So it could have gone a whole other way if it was another DPS that didn't have that pop-off potential.
I think the most impressive thing to me about Shanghai this week is that they finally took Snipes off of Reaper jail and put him on as one of his best characters in McCree. It's crazy that you're putting a hit scan character on a hit scan character and he's popping off. It's just a mind-boggling.
Especially one of the better hit scan players in the league.
Exactly. It's crazy that they got him off Reaper and he started doing a lot better.
As the Kimbo said, player of the match was Snipes, and the honorable mention was Madam.
Madam played pretty good as well. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It was just a good match on both sides, honestly. It really could have gone either way, but
Shanghai had the resilience, and I think that just comes with experience because they've done a team together. Like zero changes basically for 4 weeks. And
to me, it's just like DKE. Like, start respecting OC more because they're keeping it close. With
I'll respect OC. I'm not respecting DKE, but
okay. You never know. Okay, let's move on now. What is it?
We're moving on to Yoink versus High Society. Yoink 1-3.
What did I write down?
The player of the match was Raging Cool, and the honorable mention was Zakatar.
I think if you switch those around, it would be better because Zakatar played phenomenal. I think Raging Cool did all right, but Zakatar really stepped up this game. HS is such an interesting topic to me because Slamfire. Sorry, I was assistant manager of Powerhouse before, like a few weeks ago, and when I was doing all the scouting, Slamfire was on off support instead of Lucio, right? And when they picked up this team of Kaditrix Slamfire, I was like, that's a pretty sick duo. And then the first week rolls by, and I see the Slamfire kid on Lucio and my boy Cad on Moira. And I was like, what's going on here? And they continued to do that, and then eventually they traded a Cad for, I believe they traded for flex support, because Slamfire is going to stick main support for now on, which is a big mistake, but that's just me. Yoink, pretty good team. Luxy, I really respect him. Yoink all around is just a pretty good team.
What I am going to say, I didn't watch the whole thing. I really was only able to watch the first, like, 2 maps. But it was, based on what I saw, it was kind of back and forth, but for all the wrong reasons. It was a really weird match to watch for me. And, you know, Yoink just kind of edged it out. And, you know, congrats to them. I think
that was third map. They won Eichenwald in overtime.
Yoink.
Yoink the win.
And that Yoink strat, Hunter leaked it, like, on Countdown last week, and High Society still fell for it.
Yoink is a good team now.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know why
I think they could do something with their team. I don't know if it's going to be good.
I don't know why Hunter's leaking strats and then is a surprise he's not gotten picked up yet, but that's just another story for another
Hunter's
day.
leaking strats?
Private pugs
He leaked strats.
Oh, he was begging. He was like begging every team to let him play.
Oh, he has, but he leaked strats last week on Countdown from Yoink.
Then he leaked privates and still got picked up.
Did he trial for Yoink and then leak strats?
Alright.
Let's move on to the next game. It's Powerhouse versus Wait What?
Alright,
Powerhouse
me and Copy casted
3-1-0. This is the first game, I believe, that had a draw.
Yep, it was. Me and Copy actually ended up casting this game.
Yeah,
so
and it was beautiful.
The whole thing. Gavance was Gavance.
It's Gavant. Yes, it's Gavant.
He was insane. Kef was insane. Dad was insane. Powerhouse just played it incredibly, and I know that Wait What did have issues with their tank line, I believe, but even with that, I feel like if they had their starting tank line up, Powerhouse still would have won 3-2, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Stormson did all right, but
yeah, Stormson was pretty good on the Diva, and you know, as a support player who moves to a Diva player.
Stormson was playing Diva? Oh god.
Yeah, I think on the first 2 maps, yeah.
And then they switched him to off support and put Greek in on flex tank.
That's kind of where it all went downhill.
And that's where it went downhill.
Yeah, but I feel like if Powerhouse played like that, even against the starting lineup of Wait What, they still would have pulled it out. Now, Wait What is now not as untouchable as they seemed because of their easier schedule at the start of the season, but I still don't think that they're that bad of a team.
I still think they're good.
I think they're probably the best team.
And this is another situation where the management bias comes into my mind, because MK has played really good these past 3 weeks, and then once a DP's unsuspended, he benches MK and plays himself.
Yeah,
and DP did not look that
DP.
great. MK over a DP. It's just another one of the
Now he's in advance, so GR.
Yeah,
it's another one of the It's another one of the situations where the player that isn't in management shouldn't be benched, but he was because of management bias. But, you know, it happens.
Yeah. Wait, what? Still the best team. Can't take that away from them.
Nah, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah, they
I
definitely
think
are.
they're the best right now. If they had their starting 6, then they'd be the best team easily.
No, not even.
6, they still would have lost to Powerhouse. I think
still would have
Powerhouse.
If they had their
You didn't watch the game, dude. Powerhouse is the better team.
Oh.
No doubt in my mind.
I
think Powerhouse is the best team in League Zero right
It
now.
would be close. It would be close.
Right there.
I don't even think it's a hot
I
take.
agree with him. I completely agree with him. I feel like if Powerhouse just keeps playing like that, then they are going to be the better team.
I
did
also
they end up rematching at all? Hang on.
They're going against Yoink next week, but it's just the thing. Like people will say Powerhouse isn't the top team because they lost to High Society. That was kind of a fluke loss, and Powerhouse has looked flawless these past 2 weeks. They've improved so much. They play a wacky
they've
style.
got an improved roster too. I mean, they released copies, so it's got to be better.
True. Now, here's what I'll say about that. Gavant works better with the team synergy. I didn't work well with Dad and Kef, comms-wise, which is why it just never... That's why I left, because it just wouldn't work out. I might arguably be the better player, or he might be the better player, but he works better comms-wise with them, so I'm happy Gavant's starting. He deserves it. He's a really good player.
And,
Alright, let's move.
Whoa.
No.
That's my job. That's my job.
Okay,
Alright.
Okay, Pooter, you're losing your job now.
Yeah, talking about the player of the match, Gavant is the player of the match, and the honorable mention was Kef. They are very good gamers.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Alright, moving on to the predictions. First game is Double Cap versus Vitalize. I am a dumb, and I chose 2 people from Vitalize and 1 person from Double Cap. So I'm the only one that can
Round of
predict
applause
this game.
for Pooter.
I know. Shout out applause. Let's go.
Let's go, dude. Double Cap is gonna win.
I say Vitalize is winning 3-1.
That's a take.
Yeah,
That's
to
a
take
correct
that you
take
guys
in
are
my
going to
eyes.
get a map, that is a hot take.
Alright, man.
But I feel like Double Cap, you know, especially with the win over Pepega, you know, you guys might have some momentum rolling in, but you know, it just on paper right now, or at least it seems. I'm trying not to include bias here, but I don't really know how to not sound biased. But like,
yeah, I'm listening.
It seems on paper, it just seems like we're the better team, and with results so far, it seems like we're the better team.
Yeah.
So
dude, I actually, let me say something.
Yeah.
After we beat Pepega and I got in the VC with them, dude, I heard like a group energy in the team that hasn't existed in our team since the draft day. Like, we haven't felt this confident or this, like, we haven't enjoyed playing together as much as we have right now since draft day and, like, day 2.
Well, I'm glad that I get to shut it down, so...
Alright.
Same, bro.
With
Me
the
and you
Kemba.
copy on the tank line.
On the tank line.
Alright, moving on to the first game where all of us are predicting CDC versus DKE. We all have CDC winning 3-1. It's just CDC's just, in my opinion, a better team than DKE. DKE
yeah, bro.
Yeah, but I think DKE is better than Bot Burgers, so they're gonna take a map.
Yeah.
I personally feel like
DKE is a tier above Bot Burgers.
I personally feel like, and a lot of other people do, that CDC and Vitalize are like very similar level. Very similar level, you know. CDC is probably like.
Bro, CDC's better, dog, because they had Sermi and 4,000 ping when we beat him,
roster,
dog. Bro,
they
scuffed roster. They better, lol.
No, but seriously,
I
think they're a similar level, so I feel like DK can still pull a map here, but I can't see them winning this match.
Yeah,
I say that I get the control map Andy's map.
Maybe if Knowles bench, they can take another map, but
perhaps.
Alright, moving on to the next
game.
Pepega Parents versus Bot Burgers. We all Pepega Parents winning. But
who gave them a map?
I have Bot Burgers winning 2 maps.
I gave them a map.
Oh my
not just
god.
one map, they gave him 2.
Yeah.
Dude, they got Kaditrix, dude. I believe in the Kaditrix carry.
You believe it could? I
really hope Kaditrix can carry them.
Kaditrix is my boy, dude, but he's a Lucio player. He's a Lucio player that.
Dude, I don't know, man. Maybe he had some clutch beats like Build a Beat every fight.
I don't.
Dude, I believe in the Kaditrix carry to take a single man.
Here, the reason Kaditrix is good is because he's not a Reddit Lucio. It's not. It's the opposite. Yeah, so he can't. Like a Reddit Lucio is the one that can carry. Cat can't carry simply because of his playstyle, but his playstyle is what makes him good. So
okay,
it's just an unfortunate.
Pooter, I'd like to change my prediction to 3-0.
Sure.
Yeah.
3-0?
Yeah, 3-0. I changed it in the sheet.
Okay, I'm gonna say my thing. Look at last week. Bot Burgers lost to CDC, which is, in my opinion, the top 3 team. Pepega Parents lost to DC. 3-0, both.
You had a slightly scuffed roster.
Yeah. No,
dude. They have Genos on Reinhardt, dude.
No, bro, like I get.
They weren't trying, dude. They weren't trying.
My eyes. That's scuffed in my eyes.
I get your argument, dude. But like, Bot Burgers, like usually when the 3-week mark hits, you're like, dude, we're gonna improve our roster. We're gonna get so good. and then Bot Burgers like pulled the reverse card. They pulled the reverse card on that. So Bot Burgers is just. I don't want to be mean because Squirrel is on there. I'm really good friends with Squirrel. I'm really good friends with Cad, but like that's a yikes. That's a yikes. It's a plat team competing in the Diamond Division.
I agree.
This is true.
With the Masters off tank.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
Can't forget about Surmy. I mean, no, that's not Surmy.
No.
Who's our off tank?
It's Note.
Note.
Oh no.
Note, the best off tank in League Zero.
Happy laugh.
Okay.
All right.
You know about the history. Let's not get into that. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Next game is Yoink versus Powerhouse. We all have Powerhouse winning. Like Powerhouse right now, as you guys said, is one of, if not the best team in League Zero Intermediate.
I do see Yoink maybe winning this. It's not far, like it's not out of
reach.
Yeah, but Powerhouse just looks so good right now and riding off momentum after beating what was arguably the better team or the best team in Division B. Riding off of that momentum, they can breeze right through Yoink, and it could really go either way.
The thing is,
I think this is going to be like what people would say. Actually, no. I think this is going to be really close. I think it's going to be a good match to watch, which I'm happy because I can watch this because I play at 6.
Coffee, we should catch it.
We should. We'll try. The reason that I'm excited for this match is it could even be a 3-0, but both of these teams, especially like Powerhouse, are kind of like Chengdu Hunter vibes. Like Yoink pulls out some ridiculous stuff last week. Powerhouse has been pulling out ridiculous stuff for the past 2 weeks. We could see some weird comps coming into this week.
That's gonna be exciting for sure. Yeah, I agree.
I'm not gonna lie. I heard Chengdu Hunters, and I immediately thought that you guys said it wrong. And the Chengdu Chads.
Oh yeah.
They're the Chengdu Chads of Intermediate. What should you say?
Wasn't CDC originally Chengdu Chads?
Yeah, they had to rebrand.
Capital D colon.
Why did they rebrand?
Capital D colon. Or CDC.
I don't know why.
Because it's just reasons. I don't know. They're not important.
All right, moving on to the next game. We have Overcharge versus High Society. We all have Overcharge winning, even though High Society, in my opinion, is one of my favorite teams in League Zero Intermediate. Yes.
I'm sorry. It's not even that High Society's that bad. It's just the fact that Division B is so like good. High Society is the worst team in Division B right now. And like I said, it's not even that they're really that bad. It's just that everybody's so much better, and that includes Overcharge now, especially with the retooled roster. High Society might take a nap, but that's all that I see them doing.
All right, no.
Perter, you're like a Washington fan. You just support the team, and they're just gonna let you down. They're just gonna let you down over and over and over.
Yeah,
I was a Washington fan.
This is my take. My take is that OC, like brand new team. Oh, dude, we're gonna win. We're gonna beat Shanghai, and then they lose to Shanghai, and they're like, oh wait, man, maybe we're just bad. And then they just flop, and then they go close with High Society, and then they still win.
Have to disagree.
Something I'll say about OC.
That's my take.
Something about OC. They're probably the most humble team in Intermediate.
Are they? Oh shit!
Oh, they're so nice.
They're so nice. They were literally the nicest team we've ever scrimmed because of just how they handled things and how we handled things. It was like our best scrim. Not because they're just a good team, but also just because of how they are.
They are though.
They are a humble team. They are a humble team. I can't see them even thinking or having the mentality that they're gonna beat every team. That doesn't seem like.
And they're not egotistical anymore because they released somebody. We all know who we're talking. We all know who I'm talking about. So let's move on.
Oh, my favorite League Zero player, Hunter 27 King.
I'm a free agent, guys. By the way.
Oh, yeah, he's a free agent. Oh, let me just plug my resume.
All right. We're moving on to Wait What versus Shanghai Sellouts.
Match of the week.
We have 3 people have Wait What winning 3. No, I can't speak English. 3 of us have Wait What winning, while Coffee Dog has Shanghai winning. But in my defense, I could see it going both ways. I could see Shanghai winning 3-2, or Wait What winning 3-2. But it is going to round 5.
I think Wait What's gonna pull this out here.
Wait, can I do this?
Especially with if they have their starting roster, they're gonna pull it out.
No, I don't see Wait What winning. Don't change mine. I don't see Wait What winning.
All right.
I see Wait What winning.
I rate Shanghai. I always have. Snipes is probably my favorite player to watch, even when he was on Reaper jail. Sorry, Snipes, that you had to go through that. I wish I was your manager and I could have taken better care of you. But now that he's unleashed, he's gonna put work on his team. And the thing I'm also excited is the hit scan battle on this team. This is Spork versus Snipes. These two have been trash talking each other, and I can't wait to put. I can't wait. I'm
Spork is better, dude.
I'm counting the minutes for Snipes to put him in his place.
Dude, I think Spork is better. Okay, if Spork can like keep his cool for like 5 minutes, I think that he can beat Snipes.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a guy that rage quits from scrims because the other Widow's better, then I can't see Spork even getting close to him.
Yeah, if Spork can keep his cool for like 2 seconds, he could probably beat Snipes. But if he can't control himself, then Snipes will take this easily.
So it's usually he can't control himself, because I haven't seen a time when he can't.
But I believe, because isn't a Deefy coming in this week?
Well, Deefy was in last week, and look how good that was.
Oh shit!
MK is the better.
Oh man, yeah, they got a tank line now. They got a tank line now, but it's OJ. Fuck.
Of OJ and Taco.
Yeah, dude, OJ's dog shit. I don't know how good Taco is. I'm sorry, OJ.
Taco's pretty good. Taco's pretty good. I like.
I like OJ. He's my captain.
Guys, just don't mind me. Just don't mind me, really quick. Wait, okay, hang on.
Oh man, he's about to say I'll take, isn't he?
Yeah, like the more you think about it, like wait, what has down in like they had Javi Soundwave. Sorry, Javi. We're boys like that. He was the best main tank and intermediate, right? They lose him because of the G-Force. Rest in peace, G-Force. And now they have OJ. And OJ, I love him, but he's not that great on Reinhardt.
He's a massive downgrade.
And then you get a Defiant, who is a downgrade over MK. And then it's just like, what's going on with this roster at this point?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Let me say that DC got rid of their main tank player for our flex support player to play him on main tank. Dude, and I'm not saying that because Mini's just that good. I'm just saying that because OJ was that bad.
Yeah, so I kind of changed my prediction there. You can just look at the sheet really quick.
Shanghai winning.
Copy straight up convinced me.
That's what I like to see.
Alright.
Kimbo.
Wait, alright.
Yeah, look at mine. I think this is it. I think that's the take.
So they wait, what wins 3-2 and then they draw 3 maps?
Yeah, so wait what wins 3-2, but they draw 3 maps, you know, like some.
You have to choose, Doc. You have to choose. I know it's hard, man.
I'm choosing.
I don't know, man.
I think that we
it can go really either way, depending on what you
that's what I said.
Dude, fucking Shanghai's main tank is also a Giga Feeder, so.
Tyler, yeah.
He's also a Giga Feeder, so why not matter?
It was so funny when Lily tried to defend Tyler. Like, I get trying to defend your players, dude, but oh my god, Tyler's so bad.
Dude, Tyler's the worst.
Shanghai could be a top team, just get a new main tank, it's not that hard.
Put me on fucking main tank and I'll do better.
We actually, no, I shouldn't leak it. But we skimmed Shanghai. We skimmed Shanghai, and their roster is a little different.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but the roster was different.
Leaking stuff like that is bad, and don't live under the shadow of that FA monkey one trick. Live under the good shadow.
I'm not gonna say what happened. Just stuff happened.
Alright. So guys, this is the end of the intermediate part of the show. Countdown, whatever you call it. Do you guys have any final farewell messages?
Thank you.
Follow Shimshimothy on Twitter.
Oh my god, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it, everyone here.
Do you see that red button right under the video?
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me how many Fortnite V-Dollars you have.
Follow CopyDog69 on Twitter. That's all I have.
Follow Shimshimothy. Jolt says, Nini isn't on an off roll. Jolt says, wait, what's a bad team? I think that's everything that they wanted me to say.
Follow Akimbo Hammer on Twitter, Croc Best Manager.
Croc, wait, what OD team does Croc manage?
Contenders team.
Contenders, yeah.
Alright, so, see you guys next time, I guess. Yeah.
Bye.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Advanced Division segment of the Countdown. I'm Macronator, as always, and today we have a few special guests for you. We have Guangzhou's, one of their off-tanks, Pings.
Hi there.
We have the captain of Newt EOC, also an off-tank.
Hello. Hello.
And then we have Zach filling in for people who couldn't make it, unfortunately.
Hello there.
So this past weekend was rather decisive in most of the matches. Going over the recap, I actually hosted the Hangzhou versus Easy Clap match, and I was hoping that despite the teams kind of memeing on each other going into the match, like you had that copy pasta going through through Flush. I think that was not Flush. Going through Hangzhou. I think that was mostly Kaigo. Or I don't know where that originated, but they were spamming that in chat. If you watch the VOD, you can see that because I was hosting and recording. So you see match chat the entire time, and they are not quiet teams. I actually had to pause the game at one point to tell Melon to shut up because he was he was subbed out, and we were in the middle of a map, and it's like, look, I'm gonna kick you out of the lobby if you don't stop talking, because like this is getting disruptive. But yeah, I was hoping that the term Kaigo DPS duo could actually do some work, because they looked really strong against who was it last week? Guangzhou? I think Guangzhou or Goats only. One of those two.
Yeah, last week was the kind of a not death matches. Well, the week before last week was not death matches, but rivals, quote unquote.
Yeah, a lot of teams that were expected to be close to each other in terms of skill rating. But Hangzhou honestly just kind of rolled over and died.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing new, really.
I mean, they put up a good fight against other mid-table teams, and granted, this is Easy Clap, but like, I'll say it right off the bat, like Hanamura put up a much better fight against Easy Clap than Hangzhou did, and that's.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Hanamura's given up a better fight than anybody else we've seen so far.
I'll just wait till our match. That'll change.
Yeah, you'll see this weekend. We'll see what...
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there, but yeah, unfortunately, there's not much to say about it. Melon's player of the match, he came in for the third and final map. He actually played mostly Moira, but unfortunately, they couldn't really do much. Literally, they swapped Melon in because they're like, might as well give him some playtime. They're gonna win anyways. And then Cal's like, no wait, I want to play Widow. So they swapped him over to DPS. So it was a wannabe Cal DPS duo, and then Kuro and Melon played support because Avoid had to leave. It was as glorious as you would imagine, and Melon got way too many kills off of Moira.
I'm just going to assume that he only used the damage orb.
Yeah.
Mostly, yeah, pretty much. Also, Cal and Wannabe were the honorable mentions. Both of them just played out of their minds. Sorry, Kaigo was finally messaging me. I was looking for people to fill, and I messaged Kaigo, but I think I'm gonna get him on next week, anyways.
All right.
Whoops.
No, it's fine. He took too long to respond. But anyways, not too much to talk about for that match. So moving on to the next match, Flushed versus Newt Newt. Now this match was kind of a grudge match for quite a few of these the players on these teams, because there had been like a good amount of trades between them. They just had Flushed had just gotten rid of Mega Gust and Mythology for who did they trade? Or no, it
was Ultra and Baz. We traded to them.
Right, okay, yeah. And that match was all kinds of weird, to be honest. You'll see if you want to give your take on it since you were there.
After I heard last week's countdown and Redix, like, when he talked about the match, he just didn't sound confident. And I just decided I would try and give that to my players and take it and run. So, just the confidence boost from that alone was able to, like, embrace us. We were able to get into that match with a mindset that wasn't like, oh, we're going to lose 3-0. But no, we came in and we're like, we got a legit shot at winning this, and that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, you definitely did. I mean, I think that this honestly starts putting doubt on where people should be looking at Flushed in their standings.
Yeah. Considering, I think, after that last match, they're going to be going through a heavy rebuild.
They're already going through some stuff. Like, I think Genie just left at, like, today as of recording this on Tuesday. Yep. So that's like a flex support down. Wasn't he their starting flex, or did they have someone else? I don't remember.
He was not happy during that match. He did not want to play at all.
And that's 2 weeks in a row that he's just been like boomed mentally. Because like the Easy Clap match, like Melon was practically throwing, partially because he wanted to be on Easy Clap, which he eventually got. But I mean, like Genie was not happy. He left during the final map of that match. He was not happy against you guys. And in all honesty, like
I think Gag ended up leaving during our match. Like he just left on the third map.
Oh yeah, that's right. He DM'd me. He's like, "Wait, can I leave?" It's like, "We have to wait until the match is over."
Yeah, he left, and then Adbon came in. Yep. He was literally doing better. Like they were doing better with Adbon in and Zeron off tank.
Yeah, and Adbon has now been picked up by Flush. So congrats.
Although I believe he's there for, I want to say Flex DPS. So he's kind of going back to his roots. Because
that is the current intent. Is that he'll be a DPS for them.
And right now they either have to deal with Zera or Bubbles on off tank. But then again, neither of them.
A lot of shaking up coming from Flushed and most of Advanced in general.
Yeah, there's not too many solid teams right now, aside from like arguably Easy Clap, Newt, Flock, and maybe Goats Only, but they just recently made some changes, so I want to see them survive for a couple more weeks.
I mean, I might argue that Gongzhou's in a pretty alright state, but
yeah, possibly.
I think we're settling into it.
Yeah.
After a rough first couple of weeks, I think we're
Well, he finally got Brody back, so that's nice.
I guess just this
exactly. That was a big
this Team 1 side where we've got, or the losing teams this week, unfortunately, are the ones on a little bit shakier ground that are trying to navigate trades and players leaving and players losing motivation and all of that types of things. That
actually, that's extremely ironic that every single team that lost this past weekend is going through something, and every single team that won.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the second week in a row all these teams lost. Wait, did Goats only win the week before? I think so.
I think they did against Hangzhou.
They beat
Hanamura.
Hanamura.
Yeah. Okay. So for 3 of the teams, this is their second week in the row losing at the least. Some of them have worse records than that. But.
And that's gonna put some of the players' mentalities through the ringer if they're not like ready for that. Anyway,
and I mean, also to be fair, it is possible. It is Goats Only is debatably the most stable. So
yeah, I think they're settling into their new lineup now. But we'll get to them in a little bit. Player of the match for Newt was Mythology. No real surprise, he played out of his mind against his former team, no less. I feel like they traded him away partially because they were expecting him to be busy with Tespa stuff, but I guess he can show up to games or something, so like...
Yeah, he's busy with another team, but he can still do 6 to 8 scrims and he can still show up to the games. So...
Maybe
he was able to come and clutch this week. Thankfully.
Yeah, it's working out for now.
Yeah, I mean he got player of the match, so he's doing something right. And in the meantime, Jazz got honorable mention.
Yeah, we just had to give it to Myth because it's his off role, and he was doing serviceable duties on May. You know, but looking through the VOD, Jazz was getting picks on Genie almost every other fight. Like they were always down a healer or down someone because of Jazza.
Yeah, I remember he was sort of an unsung hero in season 1. Like people were hyping him up a little bit, but not quite as much as like his performance demanded. So it's nice to see him get to shine a little bit more this season. Anyways, next match was Hanamura versus the Flock. No real surprise here in the outcome. Actually, I believe I called the exact map differential as well, because Hanamura, they start off decent, and then they just like slowly choke over time. Like they'll have their moments where they look really coordinated, and then they'll just make like these tiny little mistakes, and everything just goes to hell after that, and they just kind of lose it out. But they absolutely have the potential to win a lot of these matches. You know, if they can pull themselves together. Granted, they're probably going through the most stuff as of recording this. I don't know if like by the time this video goes out on Friday, if that'll be slightly more resolved.
Yeah,
there's some of us know what we're talking. Some of us know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on with.
Apparently, the leaks have been making their rounds, but I don't know exactly how much. they know. But anyways, the Flock unsurprisingly took it 3-1.
Yeah, it's not really a surprise. I think there's more talent lying on the side of Flock, and the coordination on Flock is getting better and better every single weekend.
Yeah, they honestly just remind me of like Crest version 2, which I mean,
which
not
fair,
surprising.
They are.
Yeah, they are literally. Player of the match was Peter, and honorable mention was Fordle. Peter has not really seen too much playtime this season. Usually it's Apollo who. I swear I'm gonna get you on the countdown one of these days, Apollo. I've been trying for like the past 3 weeks, and every single time he's like, "Oh, sorry, I have like a scrim," or "This is going late." It's like, whatever. It's not a big deal, but it's like, I swear I want to get you on. It's just schedules have to align. But yeah, not too much to say about that match, mostly because the VOD isn't live yet. Cough. So I couldn't watch it, but I've heard enough.
Time to ping somebody again.
Just building the suspense.
I mean, unless she uploaded it in the meantime, like, and I just didn't notice. But I've been Tuesdays are crazy for me because I got family stuff, so I don't have too much time to watch it. Anyways, going on to the final match. I swear I was the only one to predict Guangzhou winning this against Goats Only.
Thank you,
Player of the match was Brody. Honorable mentions Pings and Haptic. Pings, feel free to to give your synopsis of what happened.
So as everybody well knows, and was discussed on the countdown last week, our first couple weeks were kind of rough coming into the season. But we finally found our footing with Brody firmly in the roster now. We have a stable main tank. Bakanje is now liberated from Rhine prison, much to his pleasure. And having that stable main tank and a more stable roster overall, I think has done us a lot of good.
100%.
We've been putting in a lot of time into scrims, building up synergy, and that's gone a long way, as evidenced by our victory this week.
Yeah. I will even admit that this was a lot less close than I think I predicted 3-2, but like that was mostly because I didn't know where you guys lied with like the main tank situation, because I know like Brody couldn't make it to scrims like early on in the season, and Goats Only is, like I said last week, they generally look like chickens with their heads cut off, but like that chaos can work sometimes. But if if everything worked out, I figured you guys would win.
Against a very aggressive main tank that has the backup and he knows it, they just crumbled.
Yeah. I think that was sort of the driving force. And they did have some good moments, especially on Hanamura. The Torb strat kind of dismantled us.
They play a lot.
We worked around it, but
yeah, not like the best thing to me is that you worked around it by actually pulling out a Symmetra strat.
Yeah.
So you Symmetra dive onto the turret to take it out, and then go to
Overwatch 2020.
Those high-level strats.
It is. It worked perfectly, and it did eventually give you that win in the map, which was looking pretty rough.
Yeah. That Brody shatter kind of clutched it on first point.
Brody reminds me a lot of like a more mechanically sound Agreed, and that's not to say like Agreed is not mechanically sound, but like Brody definitely has like stronger instincts in that regard. Like he'll just go face first into the enemy and like survive for a good amount of time. You're like, how does he do that?
Yeah.
It's entertaining if nothing else.
Yeah, or it's just like, alright, we've won this fight, charging up the map time with a person.
I mean, if it works.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on defense, because you get back faster. Usually.
Very true.
I'm sure the focus fire on Goats Only is lacking in some places.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of, not personalities, but like individuality on Goats Only, and that's sort of the big concern I have for them, is like, can they come together as a team? Because we saw what happens when you have concise coordination versus just like bombastic solo plays last season during the Advanced Grand Finals.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably
very
something
true.
that's certain players
And
would
even
like to forget.
debatably, we saw a little bit of that when HH took that map off Easy Clap.
Yep.
So, obviously, it doesn't completely make up for the power of skill, but it certainly is a defining factor in whether or not you can bring that to a head.
Yeah, definitely. If done right, you can basically just recreate Crest from last season, which it looks like the Flock is trying to do, and actually a lot of the teams that won this week are trying to do. So, aside from Easy Clap, they're just memeing on everyone.
Yeah.
I am prepared to see a lot of memes this upcoming week from them as well, but we'll get there. So going into the predictions, first match of the week, this one is going to be... I have fears for this match because neither of these teams are in a good position right now. Flushed versus Hangzhou. Arguably Hangzhou. Yeah, Battle of the Pinks. Arguably Hangzhou is looking a little bit more stable. Depends, but pretty much literally everyone here thinks that Flushed will take it.
I guess I will say this does come with a caveat that this is, as we're currently looking at the rosters and assuming things don't majorly change between now and the game, which they certainly could.
I could see, I can't really see Hangzhou doing too much aside from, I can
see Flush losing a lot of important pieces that could end up losing to a Bark that has had a few games to meld together.
Did Bark already pick up Andrew?
Yes.
Did they?
He will be playing next week, most likely.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. Like, that's gonna be really rough, because he's insane. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's definitely a huge boost to the side of Hangzhou, but I just think there's just too much talent on the side of Flush. Like, whatever roster they bring to that match is still gonna win.
Yeah. Actually, isn't Rev unsuspended this week, or is that next week? I forget.
I'm unsure.
It's either this he can play this week, and if he can play, like even if they have 0 on off tank, him and shoot, who's the other DPS they want to play? Red X maybe? I don't know.
They were playing Red X.
I can definitely confirm that Bark has Andrew.
Okay.
That is.
I know dividing up
probably somewhat scary considering Andrew is possibly at this point the highest profile latecomer free agent to have been picked up.
Yeah. Although I believe Marky Candy is also coming in as a latecomer, so Flushed is probably going to have him. Again, yeah. So they're actually probably going to have him as off tank, because as long as they sign him like within the next couple of days, they can play him on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think, unless I don't know that's policy for free agents. I have been so disconnected from that, and it's felt really good to not worry about it. Thank you, Zach, and dividing.
Welcome. It is me. I am the free agent man.
Yeah, I just kind of let someone take those reins, and you happen to be the one to take the bait.
Yeah, I'm just considering everything else you do. I think it's understandable.
And I don't do half as much as I did last season, at least in terms of time consumption. Last season I was doing like...
You say this like it's a problem.
Last season I was doing like 35 hours a week editing. This season it's like maybe 10. It's so nice. I'm trying to bring it down to like 5 though, that'd be great. Anyways, next match of this upcoming weekend is the Flock versus Goats Only. This is pretty darn unanimous, saying the Flock is just going to 3-0 or possibly 3-1 them. Goats Only, not looking terrible, but not looking incredible either. Probably not bottom of the rankings, but close to it, whereas the Flock is probably top 3, I want to say, if not very obviously top 4, the upper half.
Yeah,
at this point.
I
They're
would
still
say
undefeated.
At this point in time, Flock is top 2. I can't see anybody else who is standing out to the point.
Officially, aren't they number 1 in the standings, so they have a better map differential than Easy Clap?
That sounds correct. I'm sure Easy Clap is annoyed at that, but if they even noticed...
Let's be honest, they don't care. They haven't noticed. They don't even know who they faced, let alone their map differential.
That's fair.
They just know they haven't won, or they haven't lost yet. But yeah...
That's all you need to know.
They also know that Hanamura made them mad because they had to play Mei. That's it.
They called him cringe like 100 times in that match, and it was hilarious to host. Wannabe's like, you guys are so cringe, you're playing Mei. It's like, you're playing Mei too. They forced you onto Mei. But anyways, yeah, I don't know how Goats Only would take this. I believe they dropped Norse Dude, and I think they're going to be hard committing to Zoinks unless they're trading, or did they? I don't know what they're doing anymore. There's so many traits going on right now.
Yeah,
that it's so hard to
there
keep
was
track.
Definitely a trade concerning Zoinks. I don't know whether he was getting traded to them or from them, but
it's a bit of a crapshoot right now. I think Zoinks and Adam were going to get traded, but then it got disapproved.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or they announced it before it got approved, and now we're just kind of like, okay, are you still going to do it? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, wait, no, now this is messy. It's like, okay, whatever. It's not our problem. I just kind of sit back and watch with popcorn. It is very entertaining. Next match of the weekend is going to be Hanamura versus Newt. Pretty much everyone here thinks Newt is going to win. I have faith that Hanamura can still take a map because they have a knack for doing that. They've lost 3-1 more than I believe they've lost 3-0. So I just feel like it's tradition at this point that they're going to lose 3-1. But EOC, what are your thoughts going into this match against Hanamura?
I'm not really scared. I think this is probably a lock for bottom 2 team at the moment, and I think we're top 2. So I just think it's going to be a stomp.
Fair. Okay. Especially knowing, like, I would try to argue with Hanamura, but there's so much going on right now that I don't know what's going to happen with them.
Yeah, I think with our new roster, and then getting some new practice in, and maybe some more roster moves. Who knows? I think if we rematched Flock, and if we played against Hanamura, it would be quite a stomp. I'm not gonna lie. Like, going into that one Flock match we had against them, 2-3, it definitely felt very off in the Discord.
Well, yeah, you will get your chance to go against the Flock again at the end of the season.
After coming off the flushed win, I just think there's new life in Newt server, and it's really refreshing to see, considering how cursed the team is.
Not the most cursed brand we've had.
Yeah, but it's down there for sure.
Not even the most cursed current brand we have.
Okay.
There's at least 2, if not 3, that are currently doing worse.
Yeah. Rip Rio. Someone had to say it. They haven't won a single map. Anyways, we'll leave that talk to Grape Cake in the novice segment. Final match of the week is going to be Easy Clap versus Guangzhou. Pings, I love you, but like, it's Easy Clap. This one is just going to be so hard.
Like, I'll consider this a win in your heart if you can force them back onto meta again.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's the goal.
It is really hard to force them onto meta. Like, Hanamura literally had to first hold them effectively to get them onto meta. And that only worked for one map, and then they swapped to meta and just stomped again. So it's like, well.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see what we can do. I have confidence. Despite it being Easy Clap, I think at the very least we'll put on a good show.
That's all we can ask for, really.
I was really
victory, more the power to you.
I was really close to putting a 3-2 here for Guangzhou, considering their dominance over Goats Only last week. But I decided to go with 3-1 because it's Easy Clap.
That's fair. I mean,
Same
I guess
reason.
what I have to say at this point, the matchup to watch here is going to be Yusuf and Brody.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a serious test for Guangzhou's supports in particular, because Avoid and Cal are freaking nuts. Like, they keep Yusuf up through anything and everything. So if whoever plays in Guangzhou, because you guys swap out your DP or your supports so much that I don't know who to expect. But if they can manage to keep Brody up through that duel, he might actually have a chance in that 1v1.
I will say, Seun and Engage, our 2 starting supports right now, are doing a really good job of matching Brody's aggression. That's been one of the biggest factors in our improvement over the past couple of weeks, I think, is our supports being able to work in line with Brody's aggression and, you know, predicting his bold plays.
Hey guys, watch this. I'm gonna go touch their spawn door.
That's the one thing we can confirm, is that this match will not be slow.
Yes.
No, it's gonna be fast.
I can guarantee that.
One piece of advice: the more Easy Clap calls you cringe, the better you're doing. That is their way of giving respect without actually giving respect, because they're edgy 16 through 14-year-olds. That's about as good as you're gonna get out of them. Anyways, that is all the matches, that's all the predictions, so does anyone have any closing statements they want to end it out with? No? Okay.
Shout out to Flush Throwing last week. I guess.
Anyways, tune in for the weekly segment for an interview on DKE, rather overlooked team, all that good stuff. Peace nut. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero, and welcome to the weekly segment. This is the first time we're trying something a little bit different. We're doing an interview specifically for the Dunning-Kruger effect. And the main reason I wanted to get this team in particular is because of the, I believe, 4 teams in the league around all the divisions that are currently winless. DKE has by far the least exposure to the rest of the community. You know, you think of Rio, they have that massive following from the legacy of past seasons. Overcharged just completely overhauled their entire roster, and then we tend to talk quite a bit about Hanamura each week in the advanced segment, but these guys just sort of like in the background suffering silently, so I wanted to make sure they actually had a voice and sort of give their perspective on a lot of what's going on. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, of course they can see you on the screen and who's talking, all that, but feel free to introduce yourselves.
Okay, well, I'm Kit. I'm the manager for DKE.
I'm Null, resident Zarya One Trick and captain of DKE.
I'm Wiz. I'm the Flex CPS player for DKE and also assistant manager.
Aren't you hit scam?
Well, there's your problem.
I mainly play hitscan, but I can flex to all roles basically.
So anyways, I guess we should just like start from the very beginning, and I guess Null and Kit would know this better. But like going into the season, you guys were rather underrated and all that, but like what was your plan coming into the draft in particular?
Going into the draft, we hosted... Null came in after a few of the private pugs. We really liked how his attitude was towards the players and improving, which is why we picked him up as captain. And then it was really just toasting private pugs to find talent that possibly other players hadn't seen. So when draft day came around, we really were just going for the strongest player in each position that we can find just from our private pugs.
Interesting.
Yeah. After that, we kind of just put everyone into a spreadsheet and started building a roster based on like we took into consideration things like how likely they were to be drafted before we got around to picking them up, because we had a pretty late spot in the draft, so we ended up picking Wiz as our first draft. And then yeah, we kind of just made a spreadsheet. One axis was likelihood of being picked up, at least I did, and then one axis was skill. So we kind of just picked from there.
I know a lot of people criticize you guys after the draft for picking up a lot of the core of a former Snowball Cup team, Kawaii E-Girls, I believe it was. Was that like was that pure coincidence, or like the previous synergy between those players actually take part in your strategy?
It was mostly coincidence. I guess since I'm the only one of us 3 that was actually on that roster, it was honestly just coincidence. I wasn't trying to like rebuild Kawaii E-Girls. That is absolutely not the idea. But we basically grabbed the people that we thought were good at the time, and as you can see now, I think the only people left on our team from the original Kawaii squad are me and Pichu. Let me just look through the roster right now. Oh, and Axel Paxel. Us 3 are the only ones left from the Kawaii squad on DKE. So yeah, but rebuilding Kawaii E-Girls was not the original intent.
Yeah,
but that's just
not intent, just coincidental.
Yep.
I still don't know what that is. Okay.
Anyways, going into the first couple weeks of the season, a lot of people were predicting you guys to be like bottom seed, aside from like a few analysts who saw that previous synergy you had. But pretty much everyone expected you to not to lose those first couple weeks, and sure enough, you did. What do you think was like your biggest problem going into those first couple weeks?
If I guess biggest mistake, which was just I guess mostly on my part, just because I hadn't been in this league before. Probably should have picked up more players. The original idea is we had the players that we wanted, we were happy with them displaying, and if everything had gone right with those players, then it would have been fine. But after we had 2 weeks in between the draft and the first game, we practiced for a week, and then in between the last week we had before the first game, two of our DPS couldn't play, and so we were already down 2 DPS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. It's the whole situation where we had to drop 2 of the DPS that we actually
for 2 completely separate reasons too.
Yeah. So who do we have first? Ford, right? We picked him up. He was pretty solid, but then he had a bunch of IRL issues coming up. Don't blame him at all, and we had to drop him. And then we switched him for Jigo. Yeah, it was Jigo.
Smurf.
And he was a Smurf, so we had to drop him and find yet another. Which is where we picked up Rinto. And Rinto's been pretty solid. He's backed up Wiz fairly well. And then the other DPS was Chungus. Now, Chungus just straight up went AFK on us after the first scrim, and we heard a bunch of rumors that he was just showing up to double cap scrims instead of ours, because we know that his friends are there. And
we don't know though.
We don't know for
In
sure.
the end, it was just all of our DPS was just that whole area there, because we didn't have a lot of options. It all just really got messy, and so going into the first week and then afterwards in the second week, we didn't really have many options for playing DPS. Because we went through 3 DPS where each of them there wasn't much we could do. So thinking back, we probably could have picked up more people in the draft, and then maybe those wouldn't have been issues. But that's more of a hindsight.
How many players did you end up picking up from the draft? Was it 9?
9. It was 9.
One starter in each role plus a starter, a starting 6, and then 1 backup for each tank DPS support.
I actually can't say that I've ever seen a successful team in this league with less than 10 people from the draft. So.
Yeah, well, I guess now we know that.
Don't we still have 9 players, Kit?
We do. We are still.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, by the way, we are
We're
looking for a
talking about that.
Yeah, if you're interested, I'm gonna hit up the DMs.
All right, and in particular, I noticed that there was a lot of flack on your guys' tank line for the first couple weeks. It seems to have died down a bit now, but for those first couple weeks where you were sort of rotating between Buddy Chan, Pichu, and Yunol, there was a lot of scrutiny coming, especially in the guests in the countdown for those first couple weeks. What do you think the source of that was, or do you think it was just kind of overblown by the community?
I think
go ahead.
Here, I'll go.
I'll go second.
Sure. So I think first and foremost, since we had so many issues moving players around in the DPS line, it was kind of hard to create the core synergy of the entire team, and so that definitely made the tank line look worse than it was. It was also we also had some issues with Bunny eventually didn't want to be playing main tank anymore, and so we had to find solutions around that.
Yeah, basically immediately after pickup games, Bunny got burnt out on Reinhardt, and he stopped, his comms were essentially non-existent after the pugs, and then, so he basically stopped comming and wasn't a leadership role on the starting 6 anymore, and then he told me straight up that he didn't enjoy playing main tank anymore and wanted to be switched to main support, and so that's essentially why we dropped him, is because we didn't really find a use for him on main tank at all, and we didn't want to fully commit to putting him as our main support either. And then I'm not a main tank player, in case you guys haven't noticed. I'm an off tank player, and I've been filling in for main tank, so that's just straight up how it is. I haven't played Reinhardt before in any league. I have I think my 40 hours on Reinhardt, out of those 40, I think 30 of them are just memeing around in quick play and doing
It's more than my McCree.
And so I have 10 hours of in comp Reinhardt, and that's it.
I know, especially since we don't have hero bans currently, I honestly don't know if we're going to, but for now we don't.
Please.
And later, but since we don't have hero bans, you can sort of be more flexible. And I know that Pichu, like one of the very few other tanks that she's like known for and at least being competent on, depending on who you ask, of course, is Orisa. So like, did you guys? I know very briefly, I think in like maybe week 1, you guys played Pichu on Orisa, and I think you were on off tank. No, did you get the results you like wanted out of that, or did you just think like, no, this isn't working, let's not try it anymore?
Not at all. Pichu doesn't like playing Orisa.
Oh.
She's good at it, but like she hates playing Orisa, and I can't blame her. Does anyone really like playing Orisa? So we just stopped. We just dropped that comp, especially since it wasn't working for us in the first place.
And Peach is like a diva main, and then Ren diva came around. So
yeah, we're not gonna force anyone to play a hero they dislike that much.
That's fair.
Yet I'm always on Ryan.
Well, everyone but Null.
Speaking of that, are you guys like currently looking for a main tank, or are you just kind of like?
we found one.
A main tank.
We have a main tank.
I
we found one.
picked him up like about an hour after our last match ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had been.
So many pickups.
He's been with us for like 3 weeks now, I believe.
Yeah, we've been like on and off scrimming with him, and we thought he would be able to play with us in that match, and he wasn't. So he had to.
Since we started realizing like the different issues about having the smaller roster, we've definitely been looking around for more players, and so we've been practicing with these different players, and signed them all. Been signing them immediately as soon as we were available to.
Who did you sign as main tank? There's been so many pickups that I can't even keep track.
Haishan. So yeah, the new roles. So we picked up Haishan as a main tank, and we picked up Elf as a flex DPS.
And Kit is a main support.
Yes, and Kit on main support.
Just flex in general, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, I do see that announcement. It got buried in a bunch of others. Okay, so that's interesting. So you guys actually are starting to address the problems. So I guess the next logical question would be like, how do you guys think you stack up, or at least could stack up, once you start to build up that synergy with the new lineup compared to like even the rest of the teams in your subdivision, not even talking about the greater intermediate?
We're definitely not going to go winless from here on out. We haven't scrimmed CDC in a long time, and so we don't know how we stack up against them. But I feel like we could beat Vitalize, we could beat Double Cap with our actual like solid roster now. Who else is in our division? Is it Pega Parrots and I forget who the last one is.
And I'm drawing a blank. There's too many teams.
It's
Bot Burgers.
Bot Burgers.
Yeah.
Bot Burgers. We could probably beat Bot Burgers. The only two.
Like we can beat everyone in their division once we get.
You can. Yeah. Now we've gone past these issues that like we were struggling with, and now we can actually start focusing on like the actual.
Yeah, we can focus on strategies and stuff, and actually establish ourselves basically. Instead of teaching a person how to play a character. Yeah.
And even looking at the past, 4 matches? Yeah, 4 matches. You guys have managed to take maps here and there and actually make some of these games rather close. I believe it was... which team? I think it was DC.
Double Cap.
Yeah, you guys actually got really close to bringing it to a map 5. Like, during those matches that were particularly close, how is the team mentality, like, in the middle of the match?
I don't think our team mentality has ever been overall negative. We haven't had people tilting mid-match. We haven't had people like just not playing well because they thought we were going to lose. I feel like ever since our first match of the season against Bot Burgers, all of our maps have been decided between like 1 or 2 fights. So the team
I feel like we've got
pretty high.
I feel like we've got some really good IGLs in the team that keeps like the team spirits up. So we know basically everything's like winnable. Yeah.
Who are you guys versing next week? Oh, CDC.
Yeah, CDC.
That game might be rough. CDC's looking pretty dominant right now, to be honest. But
didn't they lose Jeff?
Yes.
Do they have a replacement main tank? Because
I think so. My God, it's so difficult keeping track of.
Watch us roll them, and then your rankings are gonna be fucking scuffed. You're gonna be
Didn't Vitalize roll them just like week 3?
That game was mega scuffed because both teams had like at least 3 subs. So don't take that too much. But I swear CDC picked up a new main tank. I can't find who, unless it's someone I don't recognize. But they have picked up quite a few new people recently, so I'd imagine one of those is a main tank. But despite that probably rather difficult match, I mean, after that week, 2 weeks from now and moving forward, you're just going to be rematching the people that you've already faced. So, like, how confident what's the best way to word this? Whereabouts do you think you'll land in terms of, like, intermediate by the end of the regular season?
We'll make playoffs.
We will make playoffs.
We might even win out.
We are going to who's also at the bottom right now in our division. It's
DC.
We can overtake them.
Yeah, maybe. I can definitely see you guys reaching for it, depending on how your new pickups pan out.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's basically all the questions I have for you, and that's about the 15 minutes that I promised it wouldn't go much longer than that. So if you guys have any like final statements, the floor is open for you.
I've got that.
Not really. No, I'm pretty happy with the team, how everyone has stayed positive through most of it, and everyone's excited to keep playing, especially with the new pickups. So I'm pretty happy right now.
Give us hero pools so I can play Zarya. Get me out of jail.
We are going to have a staff meeting, I believe, tomorrow, which by the time this goes live, it'll be yesterday. So hopefully we can figure out the logistics of if we can do it this season. So, soonish. Anyways, thank you guys for taking the time to interview. I at least wanted to make sure that you guys had some form of a voice, despite not really getting a chance to defend yourselves in whatever channels against the common detractors. No need to.
I mean, that's fine.
but we know who they are.
Yeah.
Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the countdown. Peace, nut.